We have some wonderful women joining us all the way from Nairobi, Kenya, and it has to do with the African Women in Sports Initiative, which officially launched over the weekend in that beautiful East African country. Founded by Dr. Marriam Mpata, AWISI, as it's known, that's AWISI, brings together over 500 members from 20 African countries, aiming to unite and empower women in sports leadership. The event, which was themed Africanacity, drew 150 women from across the continent, celebrating excellence and resilience in sports. Several women were honored for their achievements, as many as 15 from what I see here, receiving standing ovations. But tonight, gentlemen, we are joined by none other than Dr. Marriam Mpata, founder of the African Women in Sports Initiative, and Grace Kiraguri, who is chairperson of Resource Mobilisation for the same organization. Ladies, thank you so much for coming through tonight on Game On. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Very rarely do we find such, I say, well-placed individuals joining us on the show, especially from East Africa. So it is a wonderful night as far as we're concerned here in Lagos. But Dr. Mpata, let me start with you. What was the idea behind AWISI?
Thank you very much for having me, gentlemen. I'm very excited to be on this show. Behind the scenes of AWISI is basically a dream to have women enjoy equal opportunities in the multi-million-dollar industry, sports. And I believe that we started with a small dream of just empowering women with skills. And then before we knew it, we started thinking, why can't we have a continental, vision for this small group? And before we knew it, we had, 500 members within our WhatsApp group. And we've moved to that level where we believe that now is the time when we can be able to empower members and enjoy those opportunities the same way our male counterparts are doing.
Well, Grace, yes. Let me come to you. AWISI has bold ambitions, right? Seeking to empower women all across Africa, giving them a pride of place in the domestic and international sports, sports administration. How close are you to that dream and to that goal?
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me this evening, representing AWISI as a chairperson of Resource Mobilisation. For us, we're looking at, we're very, very, very close to this dream. Reason being, everything starts with a dream and a vision grows after the people have dreamt. So we're taking on the boots that Dr. Marriam Mpata and other co-founders have started, and we are saying we are going to make it happen. Why do I believe we're going to make it happen? First and foremost, we have been able to launch, and that's the first step. Bringing together women from across Africa, working smartly to bring them, all of them in Nairobi, and have a celebration. That's the first step of showing that we are capable. From there, the next steps are going to be putting structures in place for us now to enhance our goals. And I believe that we are in the right direction. We are under the right leadership. We have seen our Daktari. This is Dr. Marriam Mpata, very energetic and leading us very strongly. So with strong leadership in place, with a structure in place, we are just about to get the next steps, which is empowering women through sports.
I totally agree, because very rarely do you find, WhatsApp groups set up to actually morph into a proper organization where people can actually interact. But so that's amazing that this has been done on its own. But Tony, you have a question for the ladies?
Yeah, I was. Well, let me commend you. Let me start by commending you for this initiative and wish you the best of luck with it. But I want to find out from you if you probably have come to terms with the enormity of what you are getting into, because the women's game, virtually all sports still has a long way to do in catching up with the men's game in terms of following, in terms of revenue, sponsorship, bonuses, allowances. Getting it to be at par with the men's game is still a long way off. Is that, how daunting is that for you? How soon do you think you can close that gap? How do you want to go about it?
Can I take that question?
Please go ahead.
Yes, believe me, we understand how huge this task is, and they say if a dream doesn't scare you, then drop it. So, but this dream really it scares us, but we know that with baby steps we are able to reach that goal that we want. Because one of the things that we have realized that we have power, within us is that we are about 500 members, all coming from 15 countries, and I've never seen such a diverse, intelligent and brilliant group as the one that we have right now. There are very many women with such resourceful, minds, and I believe that being able to just come out of a WhatsApp group and form an organization and have one voice, and we saw the launch, how, 150 of our members came together to just be able to listen to some of the strategies that we have. I think that we are going to tackle one by one, and for example, we are beginning to talk about issues of gender-based violence, and, the moment women are empowered to even understand that these are issues that need to be addressed, then it is going to be easy for us to move to the next stages, which are going to be empowering our members with the leadership skills. And once women are empowered and they're able to have, knowledge and skills and confidence to even be in those leadership positions, I think we shall be able to tackle the issues one by one. And we cannot promise magic, we cannot promise that we are going to work and finish all these issues. These issues are actually general issues around the world. Even developed countries are still struggling with salaries for women. And we've seen that there's still issues to do with sexual abuse around the world and gender-based violence. It's not just an African problem, but I believe that when women come together and make up their mind that they will have one voice, there is nothing that is impossible.
I totally agree. I'm looking at the list of award winners for the Women's Day held over the weekend. It's an astonishing conglomeration of some of the finest, most accomplished women across Africa. I mean, I'm looking at people from Zambia, Nigeria. We even had a Nigerian FIFA referee, Akintoye Yemisi Eunice, was also awarded as well. Sude Stombes, who's an executive director of COSAFA from South Africa, was there. People from Tanzania, Madagascar, Cote d'Ivoire, Lesotho. My God, you people pulled a huge crowd. I must commend you. But what, you have questions for the ladies?
Oh yeah, quick one. You've mentioned a very key topic I wanted to touch on. But
I know which one.
First things first. Hi, Grace and Mpata. You guys are doing a great job. We're in the business of sports broadcasting, and I make bold to say we also have some amazing women in that field right in Nigeria. Big shout out to our own right here, Onyechi Obaro. We have Fatil, who works with the table tennis, African Table Tennis Federation. There's Janine. I think we also have Debola Fifpro as well. They're doing an amazing job as far as women in sports concerned. But I wanted to address femicide amongst women in sports, especially athletes. And interestingly, both of you guys are from East Africa, and I would like to know the position of AWISI and how much of a collaboration. And once again, this is not to criticize East Africa. I think femicide is a global problem.
Yeah.
It's an African problem as well. But where does AWISI stand in terms of collaborating with governments to ensure that it can stem the tide, of femicide when it comes to our sportswomen on the continent?
Maybe I can take that.
Yes, please.
I think we are putting together a strategic plan that is going to help us identify our key pillars. What do we want to address as AWISI? At the moment, we are looking at some of those issues. We talk about GBV, we talk about femicide, and we know it is happening. But we just can't rock into the government right now. What we need is a policy. What we need is an advocacy program, and that is exactly what we are working on. We want to be able to go and represent women, be the voice of women, champion that cause, be activists in terms of knowing that our women are going through femicide. However, and like you rightly say, it's a big problem, especially in East Africa. However, we just won't start, but it is part of our plan. It is part of the strategic plan that AWISI is taking on to be the leaders and to be the voice of these women. And we've already started small by having a GBV forum, which was attended again by women across Africa. And in that forum, we raised very pertinent issues. However, we need to raise them, but equally come up with solutions. So what we're looking at AWISI is, are we just going to be tackling, are we going to be able to create that force where the government can listen to us, where the legal fraternity can listen to us, where the law can listen to us, and I believe we have the capacity. Why? Because we've pulled in a group of women who are experts in every field. Believe you me, we have women who are already in the gender mainstreaming business, we have women in the legal, in law, we have women in policy. I believe great minds think alike. And by pulling all these women with great minds and expertise, we are merging up a very potent and lethal group of people who are going to shape the next direction of Africa.
I totally agree, of course. I totally agree and I applaud you. And all I can say is that anybody who ignores or belittles AWISI, they do so at their own peril, because we do need a force like this that can stand up for African women in sports, be it as active players or in positions of leadership. It is very, very crucial. But finally, ladies, before I let you go, a final question that I'd like to ask: what is the short, medium to long-term goal of AWISI? This question is for both of you, and also the fact that we've seen the rise of female presidents across Africa. I think Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was the first woman to become a president in Africa, in Liberia. We've seen the same thing in Tanzania, now in Namibia. Could we one day see a woman at the top of African football, CAF president? Is that possible?
Or FIFA president?
Or FIFA president?
Oh, that's absolutely possible. It's so possible because right now we have one voice. We have brilliant minds. And if we have one voice as women, we can be able to push any woman to the toppest level. And that is one of our long-term goals, to also have a member of AWISI really reach the top and be able to support them with whatever resources that will be available. And to also mention, maybe to answer one of the questions you asked, what are our long-term goals? One of our long-term goals is to have a physical secretariat where women can access resources, knowledge, have safe spaces where women can, be able to come in and say, look here, we are experiencing this. How can we deal with it in our institutions? We also would like to, have that secretariat that can offer employment, services to the women within the membership. So one of our long-term dreams, again, is to have that secretariat and to also, of course, push women to be able to enjoy the opportunities that are there in this sports world. We need to be able to, because I believe that sports it's not balanced if women are not empowered.
I totally agree.
Women are in there, because just imagine that a national team for women goes to represent a country, and they come back and they still take months without having received their salaries, and they are representing that same country that the men are representing. So, and yet women, again, those same women going for those international responsibilities are mothers, they have children, and they still have to go back home and fend for their families. So the earlier we really realize that women need to be given their equal opportunities and equal pay, and respected, and they're safe within the industry, the better for the industry itself.
I totally agree. Grace, very quickly, I asked you that question. Possibly Madam President for CAF or FIFA someday?
Yes, I want to say that we already started showing the example, because we have a female president, Marriam Mpata, right here with us. She's tackling 20 African countries. So let's start by applauding ourselves and saying we have set the pace.
True.
That we can actually have a female president running across Africa. That's my first one. Number two, Christy Coventry, the IOC president, has set pace for us as African women.
True.
We have seen she's from Zimbabwe. She is heading an international body. So CAF, the others, all other bodies, we have set pace as women, and we're going to go for them. I have no doubt in my mind that when you empower women, you empower continents, and therefore we are going to ensure that we have empowered enough women who can stand up to be leaders, and we already set the pace.
Wow.
Answering back in terms of what AWISI has plans for the short term. On the short term, we just wanted first to launch and bring in members together, which we've already achieved. Our second objective will be to operationalize the secretariat, like the president has just stated, for us to have a physical hub where our women can come and get resources that are going to help them and shape them in the decision making in terms of leadership training, in terms of programs. But more importantly, in the long term, we want to have women who are empowered, women in leadership. Let us increase the number of women in leadership, in sports especially, because we are saying we don't want to just empower, ensure that women are playing and men are playing. When it comes to decision making, all decisions for women are made by men. No, we've got to be sitting at the table. And our agenda as AWISI is to push. We have put together women across Africa who are doing brilliant stuff in sports. What makes us think that they cannot lead? If they are leaders in their categories, in swimming, in basketball, we have all that. So why don't we put them at the table of leadership? And that's going to be one of our biggest agenda and achievement as our AWISI. If we can conquer that, if we can deliver that for our women, we will have won. And I believe we are on a winning streak.
I totally agree with you.
The journey is long, but I want to say that even though the journey is long, I want to say that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step, and we have made the first step.
No. You've made multiple steps. That's all I can say. And all I can say is that I wish you the very, very best of luck, and you can be guaranteed that we will give you all the support that you require here on Game On, all the way from Lagos, Nigeria. Dr. Marriam Mpata, founder of AWISI, and also Grace Kiraguri, who is also the chairperson of the Resource Mobilization Committee. Thank you so much for joining us, ladies. It's an absolute pleasure to have you sharing your thoughts with us about the ways which you plan to empower women in positions of leadership, and also right there on the courts, right there as they continue to represent their countries and their families. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.